Well, throughout much of his presidential campaign, Mr. Trump rallied against Carrier's decision to move a factory to Mexico. Back in June, even President Obama weighed in on this and mocked Trump for saying he could get Carrier to stay. We have the tape. Here it is.
Trump came to Indiana and talked a lot about what happened with the Carrier Corporation and shipping their jobs out of state. Here's someone who worked for Carrier, and he has a question for you.
How you doing, Mr. President?
How are you?
My name is Eric Cottenham, and I'm representing the Steelworkers Union, Local 1999, and I'm trying to find out what do we have left for as all of our jobs are leaving Indianapolis, right? And I see here you're doing a lot of things, but in Indianapolis, there's nothing there for us. I mean, what's next? I mean, what can we look forward to in the future as far as jobs, employment, whatever, because all of our jobs is left or in the process of leaving, sir.
When somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back, well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
And yet there was an answer today. 1,000 of those Carrier jobs are apparently staying in Indianapolis. Joining us now to assess all of this, Eric Guster, trial attorney and political commentator. Eric, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
There was a time when liberals were skeptical of unrestrained capitalism, and then somewhere along the line they embraced market fundamentalism, and they speak, like President Obama does, sentences like, there's nothing you can do. These are market forces beyond our control. We were an industrial economy, now we're not, get used to it. And yet, Trump is kind of proving that's not exactly right, is it?
Trump is not proving that's not exactly right, because Trump backpedaled on some things. First, he said, I'm going to put the hammer down on these companies. Yeah. They'll be scared to leave. And he's given them a $7 million incentive. That's what he worked out with Pence. Now, I don't know a company around that won't take a $7 million incentive. You know, where do you sign up for that?
Well, I think it's pretty common, actually, that states and municipalities make deals to get companies to stay there. But I mean,
yes, but that's not what Trump said.
Let me ask you a question. Is it really the position of liberal Democrats that it's wrong to use government policy to influence markets? Is that what you're saying? I mean, isn't this the kind of thing? I would think liberals would be in favor of this.
I mean, government has always instituted policy to try to help markets as far as different incentives for companies to stay, different incentives for people to build, just like federal tax credits to rebuild buildings, old buildings. So, of course, the federal government has always been there. But the issue that we have with what Trump has done is he has flipped the script. He said, I'm going to put the hammer down. They're going to be overly taxed because if they go to Mexico, there's going to be, I'm the big bad wolf. And then he gives them incentives. So that's the total opposite thing.
Well, he used a lighter touch than he said he would, which is probably not
the lighter touch? I'm going to tax you versus give you $7 million bucks.
But what I find so interesting,
$7 million.
Well, I mean, I don't know, for 1,000 jobs, and what's the cost?
But they lost what, 600?
Yeah, they did. They did.
So well, they didn't. He didn't stop the whole thing like he was.
The truth is, in Mexico, Carrier workers make about $11 a day plus benefits. In Indianapolis, they make $30 an hour. So you know, it's a hard sell to get them to stay here. But I'm just so interested to hear liberals like President Obama talk like teenage tech billionaires when they say things like, "There's nothing we can do." You know, the wheels of capitalism roll on, and if you're crushed beneath them, tough luck to you. When did that change happen exactly?
We don't talk like that.
I mean, he does. There's nothing you can do. You're good.
The teenagers Trump on his Twitter feed. Now that's the teenager
but I'm
who's
just
in
saying,
this equation.
I mean, Obama's position is the same as Hillary Clinton's and Nancy Pelosi's, which is you're seeing your good-paying jobs that confer not just a salary but dignity disappear to third world countries because we get cheaper labor there, and we can't stop it. There's just nothing we can do at all. Like, when did that become liberal orthodoxy?
The government has to do a better job to keep companies here. I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Now, I do agree with that. We have to do a better job of keeping companies here. And I don't have a problem with incentives, but I have a problem with Trump claiming that he's going to punish people, then giving incentives, which is the total opposite of what he said. Because he put himself out as a big bad wolf. I'm going to stop them. They're going to be afraid to leave. But what these companies are going to have right now, some of these companies are going to threaten him, say, I'm going to leave, and then they're going to try to get an incentive package. I mean, I don't know a company alive that wouldn't.
I don't think you're making a crazy point. It makes me uncomfortable when governments favor one company over another. We saw it a lot under the Obama administration with Solyndra, et cetera. But I also think, as an economic matter, you could make a cost-benefit analysis. Unemployment has really high costs for taxpayers.
Oh, I agree.
You have unemployment benefits, but then you also have all kinds of welfare programs, addiction treatment. I mean, it cascades down. So is it really a bad deal to spend $7 million to save 1,000 jobs? Maybe it's a net plus, actually.
It's not a bad deal. Okay. I'm not saying it's a bad deal.
Why not just celebrate it? Why not just say, you know what? I don't like Trump,
that is
but
not
he
what
did a
Trump
good
sold.
thing.
That is not what Trump sold people. He told people, I'm going to tax them, and that is what's going to keep them here, not give them incentives. I'm a business owner. I'm a real estate developer. Incentives drives the market. If you have 3 buildings you can choose from, one has incentives, 2 don't. You're going to pick the one with incentives. That's just the way it is. And that's the way companies are driven as well. If you can get tax breaks by hiring veterans, if you can get tax breaks by hiring teenagers who may have been in trouble, you're going to take them, of course.
Just for whatever it's worth, I don't actually think as president-elect he can change our tax code. So that may have something to do with the way he approached this. I don't know. Eric Usher, it's great to see you.
Great seeing you, too.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on your show.
Thanks.